Welcome to Insights. I'm Eric. I hope everyone's had a good weekend. The weekend's probably interrupted for some who follow the cryptocurrencies with Elon Musk's comments that they seem too high. I wouldn't really sweat that one out too much because his timing's not the greatest in the world, and I'm not sure why everyone assumes he knows what he's doing in terms of market timing, but that's another discussion for another review. This review is going to talk about the S&P uh, biotechnology stocks, which are showing an interesting setup. They've actually been a consistent performer within the matrix, and we're going to talk about that here within terms of the evolution of the trade. So if you want to open up your matrix or follow along with mine, we can see the biotechnology is highlighted down in here. The evolution of the trade follows the monthly, weekly, and daily trends simultaneously. It doesn't really focus in on charts and all the traditional TA stuff. We follow direction, price, and time cycles, and energy. And right now, the primary trend is the driver of this position. That's been up for 11 months and 71%. It's the time cycle is still below zero, so there's a lot of room left to run, even if it's been up for this long. Everyone who's following the evolution in the trade, which includes me, purchased the primary trend and back in April of 2020, which is a long time ago, but clearly there's a lot more room left to run. The price cycle is a little bit above its norm, but this is not outlandish. The downturn in the daily is probably what has everyone who's trading the biotechs, and I'm not sure how many are, a little bit concerned. I would say that this concern flows from the weekly trend as well. The weekly price cycle is almost 3 standard deviations, which is a fairly high number. It can go higher, but this could mean that this correction could tip down in the daily and could spill over into the weekly and reset both of these while it maintains the primary uptrend. So at this stage of the game, this S&P is the biotechs have fallen out of alignment, and that means it's going to set itself up for a reset at some point. How long it stays in consolidation really depends on how long the daily trend down lasts and whether or not it infects the weekly. And we can take a look at the setup within the evolution of the trade graphically for people who visualize things better by studying the 3 time frames. These boxes are highlighted green during up impulses, and when they fall out of upside, the impulse turns over, which then knocks the composite trend out of upside alignment. These yellows or these black circles highlight periods in which the trend is down, and we can see that we're just floating below, so this is a crossover. This happens quite a bit on the daily. These are all potential candidates for reset as long as the weekly and monthly trends are in place. Whether or not these are a little bit longer, but this might coincide with either the weekly or the monthly out of upside impulse. Here's the weekly boxes. They're a little bit stronger. This one, you can see that the impulse is quite fast. It's moved up almost vertically. It's one of the reasons why you have a 3 standard deviation price cycle. But the box is not very long. Other boxes are much bigger. So the weekly time frame, if you peel back some of the price games, is certainly not vulnerable on a time basis or a cycle basis of time. The monthly trend is here, and this box is the current up impulse is highlighted here. Other green boxes are generally much larger, so the biotechnologies is looking like a good candidate for a reset at some point. Now, I'm going to keep this review open to talk about all this because it's not really divulging what time it's going to be, what's the time frame for the reset. If you want to know that, you can contact me directly if you're a subscriber. It's going to fall based on how long the daily impulse tends to be down and whether or not it's going to infect the weekly. We don't have energy to study this, but we do have the pro and public charts, and we do have the reversals to look at. So let's take a peek at the pro chart here. Go back over here and we can see that the pro index is here. This is the public. Public's been a big buyer. Public generally buys almost everything, especially in an up market. But the pros need to follow the price up. And we look from this point here, from here to here, the pros have been making relative highs, new highs. So it's been supportive of this rally from at least this point. What we're going to need to see is that the next up impulse, if we do get a reset, the Pro Index needs to carry above this swing high here. And that will essentially place professional support into the rally. So it's looking okay. The fact that we've had a longer term divergence is something that is common among all stocks inside the matrix. It's the relative trend that matters the most. We're having a hard time getting above this high here, which was formed around in here. So this is creating a longer term negative divergence, which I'd like to see be broken, and that would kind of wipe this out. But for now, this suggests the pros are a little bit hesitant. Perhaps there's a deeper correction coming, or perhaps there's a risk off period coming for stocks in general that I think that someone's concerned about. Professionals are at least concerned. But otherwise, the reset, we're just going to have to wait. So if you're trading the biotechnology stocks and you're watching this column, watch for it to come down and wait for this to realign back up again. It'll be highlighted here as a reset into under triple alignment. And we'd also like to see compression if it's possible. The market itself is fairly close to compression. It's marked by these two here. There's some volume compression and there's price compression. But don't worry about it. The computer will flag us over here with a down arrow and a calm sign that says the time frames are compressed. Now, how far can this go down? We need to study the reversals, and you can pull the menu down and pick out XPI, and it'll come down and pick out here. It shows us the current price. The weekly reversals are the best, but price is blown through them, and they're so far down, we're going to have to study the daily. This is the logical support zone for the reversal zone, which the price may drop to hit. So keep an eye on this. This could change. These do change in time. The computer constantly calculates them. So this is a snapshot in time that may change as this review goes on. So keep an eye on it if you're a subscriber. But ultimately, the biotechnology setup is looking pretty good. The primary trend's relatively young, as we see here. The weekly trend's not super extended, and the daily just flipped down, and we're waiting for a reset. 71% return over 11 months is pretty sizable, so it's not a market that you want to blow off completely. Like I said, there's other markets other than cryptocurrencies, and the biotech has been a solid play. So we'll see. Let's keep an eye on this one. We have our core positions, and we're looking for opportunity to escalate. If you have any questions about the biotech stocks or anything how it sets up within the evolution of the trade, contact me through the blog or any means that you want. The blog underneath the video. There's some links under the video. You can click them. It pulls you back to the blog. You can get a hold of me there. You can write some comments. Subscribe to the channel or subscribe to the Matrix if you want to see this, or if you have any questions about the Matrix, let me know. They can all be addressed. Other than that, keep your eye on biotechs and hope that it's going to be a short reset if you're in it. I'm watching it close myself, but whatever happens, be patient. Let the computer show it for us before you really get impulsive. I think there's too much emotional involvement with plays. You have to step aside and let the market do the talking for us. Thanks for watching the video and enjoy the rest of your weekend.